Hello and welcome back to BenJ's Battle Guide, where today we will be looking at how to 2v1 or how to X versus 1. With melee combat in this game being so simple, it should be extremely difficult to win 1v2s or especially 1v3s, which is why in most cases when you see this happening, it is a melee sweat versus 3 bobs, or people utilizing grapples, javelins and so on to their advantage. This will all be covered though in our soon to come 1 versus X video. For now though, let's focus on 2 versus 1 or the how to be a Zergling guide. Essentially, there are a few golden rules. You want to get into a position where you and your partner are on either side of your opponent, or in the best case scenario, in front or behind of your opponent. This being said, we all know too well about being ping-ponged between multiple players. It is safe to say that once you are in this position, whoever is stuck in between is pretty much dead or will at least take a lot of damage. The reason this works is due to displacement on hit. As you can see, when I block I lose momentum, and when I get hit I also get shifted about. This contributes massively to ping-ponging, as it can be very disorientating and messes with your footwork as it locks you into the middle of your opponents. Camera turn cap also inhibits you from doing consistent 180-degree blocks. Back to the most common scenario, you and your partner being in front and to the left and right of your opponent. Imagine an invisible line in between you and your partner. Do not cross this line. By crossing this line, you are asking to get team hit, and you are allowing your opponent to move in a way that neutralizes either you or your friend. As well as sticking to your side, you should also be conscious of what attacks you are inputting. If you are on the left, you should mainly be using overheads and right swings, and if you are on the right, you should be mainly using overheads and left swings to avoid team hits, although this is not necessary. Most of the time you will be using overheads due to range, however only spamming these out will not be useful at all. For those more advanced players, you may in fact want to consider using the opposite side swings to what I suggested, as this will shift your opponent towards the middle of you and your ally, enabling easier ping pong. Only consider this though if you are conscious of your swing arcs and can avoid team hit cleave. Another golden rule is that you should always be ready to block, whether you think your opponent is targeting you or not, even when he has his back turned to you. Be ready to block if need be. Essentially, always be aware that your opponent can target switch. Holding or heavy attacks can be very good but also terrible if used incorrectly. First of all, when you hold an attack, your movement is slowed, meaning that your opponent can drive the fight away from you. Also, if your timing is bad, they can easily switch to you with a light attack and hit you before you hit them. Range on heavy attacks is also oftentimes shorter than range on lights, Bone Spike Sword for example. Something heavies do very well though is pressure your opponent. Now normally in a 2v1 you have one of 3 aims. Attack at the same time but at a different direction to your ally. Alternate swings with your ally so that your opponent has no time to respond unless they chamber. Or hold and feint attacks to keep up the pressure and release at opportune timing. By continuously feinting, not only do you continuously apply this pressure, you are also way faster than if you were to hold a heavy attack, as can be seen here. Oftentimes in a 2v1, it will be a 1v1 and then somebody else acting as a support. These roles will switch as your opponent target switches, but as a support your job is to apply pressure and eventually catch out your opponent, beginning a chain of attacks between you and your ally. By constantly applying this pressure, you are forcing your opponent into blocking, which in turn restricts his movement severely, giving you and your teammate the footwork advantage to be able to surround your enemy. Another valid strategy if your friendly is low is to swap in and play defensively while he heals up before rejoining you for a quick 2 versus 1 finish. A lot of the things explained in these guides will be mainly focused around staged fights, however there is much more counterplay and game sense when it comes to organic PvP. It will take forever to go over all these plays, so in these guides we will mainly stick to fixed environments, but throw in comments about organic play here and there. Perhaps in the future more specialized videos will be made, such as survivability in 2v1s, ground fights and so on, in the wild. Although on the topic of organic PvP, never run into and wildly swing when engaging a 1v2. Honestly, I would advise blocking as you initiate, most of the time if you just want to play safe. Be ready for a block when you come in. Also, 3v1s have the same concepts overall, just be more wary of team hits and positioning. Cycling attacks is normally your best bet. Honestly, I would never go above a 3v1, but if you do, prioritize overheads and keep distance as you will team hit less. Anyways boys, I hope you enjoyed this more concise and targeted video. This is the ideology for the formats going forwards, and if you wish to learn anything else, obviously leave it down in the comments below. We have many video ideas planned, and I will be releasing these about once a week if I am lucky. As always, have a good one, and I will see you boys in a bit.